But let's go to Chelsea now. Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, has got yet more breaking news. Kaveh.
Chelsea are awaiting a green light from Victor Osimhen over a move to Stamford Bridge before advancing talks with Napoli about signing him ahead of the transfer window closing.
Let's start with a really big one. The one all Chelsea supporters are asking me about, Victor Osimhen. What is happening with him tonight?
Osimhen is keen to join, and Chelsea hopes the 25-year-old Nigeria all-summer will agree to fit into their team and incentive-based wage structure. Victor Osimhen could yet end up at Chelsea this summer, as the Blues are still confident of completing a deal for the Napoli striker, according to reports. Chelsea have been searching all summer for a new striker, with the Blues leaving it until the final day of the transfer window to buy one of the main missing pieces from their squad. Many pundits and former players think striker and goalkeeper are the two main positions they need to improve in if they are to have a successful season. Osimhen has been linked to Chelsea and other Premier League clubs over the past couple of years, and now it finally seems as though he will leave Napoli this summer. A report earlier on deadline day insisted that a medical was booked to take the Nigeria international to Saudi Arabia club Al Ahly after the clubs agreed a fee. However, Sky Sports reporter Kaveh Solokol revealed that Al Ahly will not be able to register both Osimhen and Ivan Toney, who are already reportedly having a medical ahead of a potential move.
So Chelsea still have not walked away from a potential deal for Victor Osimhen.
And now Italian journalist Rudy Guilletti insists that Chelsea are now confident they can secure a deal for Osimhen, with discussions continuing. Guilletti wrote on X, "Chelsea are still discussing with Napoli the verbal proposal made for Osimhen. Chelsea is also in contact with his camp to finalize the last details, after having reached a general understanding on personal terms. Chelsea are still confident to get the deal done." Guilletti later added, #Chelsea are pushing hard on #Napoli to finalize the agreement for #Osimhen ASAP, in time for the closing of the transfer window. #CFC is trying to speed things up by leveraging on the structure and the conditions of the personal terms already agreed in principle. RMC Sport journalist Fabrice Hawkins even commented that Osimhen could end up staying at Napoli if Chelsea don't make a new offer for the striker. Hawkins wrote on X, "Victor Osimhen crazy saga. If Chelsea don't make a new offer, and Al Ahly sign Ivan Toney, Victor Osimhen could stay in Napoli. Negotiations ongoing between clubs. If his representatives make clear their client's willingness to proceed on this basis, the West London side is expected to push for a deal." Chelsea are set to lose out on Victor Osimhen, with the Napoli striker set to join Saudi Arabian side Al Ahly, according to reports. The Blues are desperate to sign a new striker before the transfer window shuts, with Osimhen understood to be their top target ahead of the Friday deadline. RMC Sport journalist Fabrice Hawkins reported this morning that Chelsea officials have been in Naples to try and convince Osimhen to stay. Hawkins wrote on X, "Chelsea's management is currently in Napoli. They are trying to convince Victor Osimhen." While Sky Sports journalist Kaveh Solokol claimed that the Blues were now prepared to bring the striker in on loan with an obligation to buy. Solokol said, "There has potentially been a significant development in talks between Chelsea and Napoli over a deal for Victor Osimhen. Chelsea are now prepared to bring the striker in on loan with an obligation to buy." Yesterday Sky Sports News reported that was something the Blues were considering. Osimhen has been clear all summer that he is not interested in a loan, but a loan plus an obligation to buy is effectively a permanent deal. Al Ahly are still trying to convince the Nigeria international to move to Saudi Arabia. A move to Jeddah makes much more sense financially for the 25-year-old and Napoli, but earlier this week his agent said the player had unfinished business in Europe. But now Belgian journalist Sacha Tavolieri has claimed that Saudi Arabian side Al Ahly is set to win the race for Osimhen, with Italian journalist Gianluca Di Marzio reporting the same thing and claiming he is set for a medical. Chelsea FC beating a $160 million offer in 4 years on the table as wages for Victor Osimhen look too difficult, sources told. #CFC will fight until the end though, but Al Ahly is now set to win the bidding war on the Nigerian striker's case. On hearing that Chelsea might do a deal for Osimhen earlier today, former Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher was excited at the prospect of seeing the Nigeria international in the Premier League. Carragher told Sky Sports, "There's no doubt Chelsea need a striker. We've said that before. We've seen Nicholas Jackson come into the club and it hasn't worked out. Romelu Lukaku has reunited with Conte again at Napoli. Victor Osimhen has been a player linked to a lot of Premier League clubs, and I'm just delighted it looks like he's coming to the Premier League, as it looked like the other option was Saudi and he's too high quality of a player to do that at his age. Hopefully we can get to see him in the Premier League. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano gave a general update on Chelsea's transfer business this morning, with several players set to leave Stamford Bridge before the deadline. Romano wrote in his Caught Offside column, "I'm told that someone from Brentford called Chelsea for Ben Chilwell. Well, let's see if they will make a bid on deadline day or not. For Trevoh Chalobah, we heard about Stuttgart. Fake news. I'm told that Stuttgart are not working on a deal for Chalobah, but there are other clubs interested, also from England, so there could be movement. Just to give you an example, many clubs are looking at defenders for the final day of Crystal Palace, so there could be opportunities for Chalobah. And then there is Raheem Sterling. We'll have to see what happens with Jadon Sancho first, because Sancho is another big topic, but as of Thursday night, the deal for him to go to Juventus is in total standby. Man United rejected the improved bid from Juventus yesterday. What about Chelsea? Chelsea is very busy with the Victor Osimhen deal, but they are keeping contacts active in the Sancho story. Chelsea are working on it, then let's see what they will get in the next 24 hours. Chelsea may have just been given the green light to press forward with plans to sign Napoli striker Victor Osimhen on transfer deadline day, with Saudi Pro League side Al Ahly focusing their efforts on Brentford's Ivan Toney instead. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano claims that due to issues that have arisen in negotiations between Osimhen and the Middle Eastern outfit, they have decided to pursue Toney. It is unlikely that they will sign both Toney and Osimhen on Friday. Al Ahly are now working on documents to complete a deal for Toney after agreeing a £35 million fee with Thomas Frank's outfit earlier in the day. Toney has completed part of his medical in London and is expected to travel to Saudi Arabia to seal his big money move, with the club now landing a striker to form a partnership with ex-Liverpool star Roberto Firmino. Many clubs within the Saudi top flight believe that Al Ahly cannot afford to sign both Toney and Osimhen, especially considering the division's rules concerning the number of foreign players each side can have, paving the way for Chelsea to move for the Nigerian target. Chelsea are now thought to be the only team in the running to sign Osimhen, with Al Ahly and Paris Saint-Germain looking elsewhere, with Antonio Conte's Napoli already moving on with his replacement Romelu Lukaku. Chelsea are awaiting a green light from Victor Osimhen over a move to Stamford Bridge before advancing talks with Napoli about signing him ahead of the transfer window closing. Osimhen is keen to join, and Chelsea hopes the 25-year-old Nigeria striker, who has been the top target all summer, will agree to fit into their team and incentive-based wage structure. If his representatives make clear their client's willingness to proceed on this basis, the West London side is expected to push for a deal. Osimhen has been considered by Saudi Pro League side Al Ahly, but they are working to recruit Ivan Toney and cannot acquire both. Although he was among the candidates for Paris Saint-Germain when it was confirmed earlier this summer that Kylian Mbappé would be leaving, they are not pursuing the situation. Unless any other suitors unexpectedly appear at the last minute, it leaves a switch to Chelsea or staying with Napoli as the only possibility. The new ownership regime at Stamford Bridge has made efforts to reduce base salaries, with contracts designed to include significant performance and success-related bonuses. They are said to be happy with the head coach Enzo Maresca's squad, but will still monitor the market for late opportunities to bolster further. In July, The Athletic reported that the Nigerian international was in talks over a possible move to Chelsea with Napoli. Osimhen joined Napoli from Lille in 2020 and has scored 76 goals in 133 appearances for the Italian club. He was instrumental in Napoli's first Serie A title in 33 years in the 2022-23 campaign, netting 26 times in 32 league appearances. His goal tally dropped in 2023-24 as Napoli finished 10th, 41 points behind champions Inter, but he did score 17 goals across all competitions. Osimhen began his career at German club Wolfsburg, before spending the 2018-19 campaign on loan at Belgian club Charleroi and joining Lille on a permanent deal the following season. The striker scored 18 goals in his sole campaign at Lille before joining Napoli in a club record fee of €70 million, potentially rising to €80 million with add-ons. Victor Osimhen's proposed move to Chelsea has taken yet another twist after the forward rejected a wage proposal from the Premier League outfit, according to reports. It has been reported that the Napoli man has rebuffed an offer worth around €155,000, £130,000 per week from a Chelsea delegation in Naples, although they are still trying to convince the player to make the move to Stamford Bridge, according to journalist Fabrice Hawkins. The Osimhen saga has rumbled on for much of the window, with the striker seemingly out of favour with new Napoli manager Antonio Conte. He is yet to feature for Napoli this season. The Serie A side have already signed Osimhen's replacement, bringing in Romelu Lukaku from Chelsea in a deal worth £30 million. Latest reports from The Athletic suggest Osimhen has been the Blues' top target, but the deal may rely on the 25-year-old agreeing to fit into their team and incentive-based wage structure. Earlier on transfer deadline day, Saudi Pro League side Al Ahly were touted with a move for the striker, but now seem to have decided to move on and pursue the transfer of England's striker Ivan Toney. Osimhen is a proven goalscorer and was a crucial part of Napoli's Scudetto-winning campaign of 2022-23 when he formed an unstoppable partnership with Georgian winger Kavica Kvaratskhelia. The Nigerian netted 26 times in Serie A during the title-winning season. Although last season, he was set back by injuries, he still managed to return impressive figures of 15 league goals in 25 appearances for Gli Azzurri. RMC Sport journalist Hawkins reports that Chelsea is still trying to convince Osimhen to complete the transfer, and that if no agreement is reached, then the forward will stay in Italy. That would be something of a surprise given the fact that Osimhen started the day with 2 transfer options to consider.